Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be making some simple abstract portraits using the Dina Wakley products and some beautiful paints. So I'm starting off my large dilutions journal with some blackberry paint, and I'm just putting on really with a lot of water, so it'll drip down my page, and you can see I'm spraying on a lot of water as well to get that moving. Now, for those people who have followed my channel for a little while, you will be quite surprised to see me using purple because it's not a colour I use very often in my pages. But this page was inspired by a class I taught recently, and as usual when I taught the class I went to my go-to favourites of magenta and cheddar and sky. But in the class the students have access to all the paint colours and they can choose whatever colours they want to, and someone in the class put this combination of colours together and I absolutely adored it. It was just so beautiful and so moody and ethereal, so I just had to try it out using these colours and just sort of get out of my comfort zone. And that's the reason why I love going to classes and teaching classes, because you get to see everyone else's artwork, and everyone comes at things in a different way and applies paint in a different way and applies colour in a different way. And every time I teach or go to a class, I always come out inspired not only by what the teacher's doing, but by what the other students in the class are doing. And I'd highly encourage you, if you do go to a class, take the time to check out the other students' work, because while you might not like all of it, I'm sure there's something on each and every page that you'll go, oh wow, I didn't think about doing it that way, or isn't this really unusual? We've all used the same products but we've all come up with different techniques. So it's a really sort of important thing to do. So I'm just putting out some of the paint that I use. So it's blackberry sky and marine is that darker colour, and I'm just using the colours I used in the background to put some stencils over the top. And I do this quite a lot when I'm sort of doing these watery abstracty backgrounds, is I have the really sort of watered down version in the background and then sort of stencil over with the straight paint, so you get the two tones of the paint colour really easily. I'm also shockingly leaving some white space on this page, but you can see I'm taking some of the stenciling down into it just to sort of extend that colour and sort of add to it to the page. So I'm doing the same with all of the stencils. I'm using a different stencil for each of the colours, so it sort of stands out a little bit more. And you can see I'm really pouncing out the paint. It's very fine and very faint in some places, but it's just to add extra texture over the top. So it doesn't need to be really heavy lines. It can sort of get really faded out. That's okay too. So once I've finished with the purple, then I'll go in with the marine over the top as well. So using those lovely half circles, which is a really funny stencil to have. It's a really odd shape, but I really like it. I don't know what it is about it. It's, as I've said before, particularly the Dina Wakley stencils, when I first sort of saw them, I thought, why would you use those? But they're my go-tos because just the textures and the patterns I think are just beautiful. One of the things I do make sure I'm doing with these, particularly with stencils like that, is I make sure I'm not using all the pieces. I do it sort of randomly in a pattern across the page, so you don't get those linear lines. I like things being slightly abstract. So the idea for this these figures came from when I was doing the class. We actually started out with the large Dina Wakley face. That was going to be our focus on the page, but I only had one of the stamps, so all the students were sort of using that stamp, so I had to use something else to demonstrate. I can't remember what I was demonstrating, and I stamped these onto the page sort of in a group like this. I thought, oh, they kind of actually all sit together in a group. They've got Dina's beautiful sort of sketchy lines to them, and I just love these stamps anyway. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll play around with that. And this is sort of what I came up with. So all I've done is sort of from the neck extend it down into a really simple body shape. I haven't added in any arms or any features. I've just added in the body shape. And you sort of just get this beautiful little group trio sitting together to do this. So now I'm just going in with the scribble sticks to just blank out the faces somewhat, because they are obviously very brightly coloured in the background. So just adding that little bit of, I think it was rose gold and buff over the face helps to just cam the faces down a little bit, so it's a little bit more obvious that they are actually faces. And one of the things that I love to do with any sort of figure is to make sure that I put in the whites of the eyes. That just immediately draws your eyes to the face and helps your eyes recognize that it is a face. You could see before I did that, they sort of blended into the background because they are very fine line stamps. So by just putting that little dot of white around just really sort of helps frame the face. Now I'm just going in with really scribbly writing and doing some journaling about how this page came about, how I was inspired by watching what the students were doing in class, using colours that I hadn't used before, the fact that these females reminded me of all the people who support me in my life. In journaling like this, I sort of start off on one tangent and then end up on another tangent, and that's what I really like about it. I call it my brain dump journaling, and it's a technique I do with kids at school a lot as well, where I get them to sort of start writing and just keep writing and not think about what you're doing, and without doubt they'll all sort of start off in the morning about I had breakfast, I did this and did that, and then they'll be talking about what I got for Christmas, or where my next pet's coming, or they always end up somewhere slightly different. So it's a really interesting technique to do and find out where you end up. One of the final things I'm doing on this page is adding in a contrasting colour. So I'm using complementary colours. So obviously I've got those the purple in the background, so I'm using complementary colour orange to just really, sorry, orange is the complement of blue, but bluey, orangey yellow colour complements both of them. So I'm just going in and making those figures step out from the background, so you can still see the colours really clearly that we've used, but it just helps to pop the figures out from the background. Final thing I'm putting in is underneath the little washi hearts that I put in on the stamp set that I used. It's got "Be strong, be true to you, hold on," which I just stamped under the hearts, and it sort of went into the journaling, which I didn't mind. The fact that it sort of echoed that scribbly journaling as well, I thought really sort of helped with the final page as is. The last thing that I'm going to do, again to sort of highlight the figures, I suppose, pop them out from the background, is to use this stencil, which is from Darkroom Doors. It's just a random words. These are all sort of calm, well-being words. I'm using very little paint. I want this to sort of blend into the background. I want it to be quite translucent. I want to be able to see what's happening on the background. I just wanted to sort of add something to reflect, I suppose, what those figures are sort of meaning to me. And I'm just over the top of the largest figure putting in the word calm. So this is the finished page. I will have it up my channel, the next page that I did sitting next to this one, which is completely opposite to this page. It's a magazine collage, so keep an eye out for that. I will, when it's released, link the two videos together so you can sort of see the chalk and cheese. I'm just going back in over that white because it was a little bit stark, putting some more of the orange just to sort of blend it into the background again. So this is the final close-up of the page. It was really, really simple to do, and obviously if you're great at drawing figures yourself, you could certainly draw something really simple like this on your page as well, but having those stamps just really helps novices to get something beautiful on their page. So thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see and you're new to the channel, thank you so much for visiting. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and there's some other videos to the left that you might like to have a look at too. Thanks for watching. Till next time, bye for now.